Hello guys, hello, welcome to 100 Days of DevOps Challenge of Coding, Kodecloud, where we are solving the live troubleshooting problems of all the things related to DevOps. If you say of Linux, we have already completed the Linux day challenge of 22-day challenge. Then we have already completed the kit. I think it was for 14-15 days from day 22 to day 34. We have it, and now we are welcoming you to the day 35 of the challenge, and we are starting to live troubleshooting of Docker. First, we will learn what is Docker and how is it useful. Then we will troubleshoot this problem. Then we are going to live troubleshoot all the things and Docker. We will live troubleshoot Docker. We will learn about Docker networks and Docker containers. Everything we will learn from basic. We will learn about Docker Compose. What is the benefit of those Docker Compose instead of a Docker file? We will be getting into each and every prospect of this video. So be with me, like, share, and subscribe as much as you can. Share this to your DevOps engineer friend who works with you, so that he can also gain a little bit knowledge from this. Okay, so let's go into deep. What is a Docker? Let me tell you what is a Docker. How it come and becomes so popular that every project which is deployed in a production environment uses Docker. So let's see that Docker. What is we doing before Docker? So before we the Docker, we have a concept called virtualization, where we install hypervisor. I think all of you know. Yes. So with that, hypervisor is installed in an operating system. Suppose your operating system is Windows, so we have to install a hypervisor, which takes a lot and lot of memory. A particular hypervisor, I think it is installed in my computer. It takes around 14 to 15 GB of data of my storage. It takes only to install and download a hypervisor. The images of a hypervisor is so heavy images. So what is the use of a hypervisor? It translates an image to operating system, and it is the images of a hypervisor is very heavy images, maybe of 12-14 GB images. You can see if something is running on your computer and RAM. If we talk about a 4 or 8 GB, then how much memory it will take. So the problem was that, see, one developer has made an application in which is perfectly running in his PC. Suppose the PC is of Windows. Then when we switch to the PC, or the dependencies are being changed to Python or Linux, then the app that has newer version of Python, if it has a newer version of Python, we again have to install everything from the start, and it may crash in the production environment. So this is why Docker came into place. How the Docker works on a containerization strategy. Containerization is a strategy. Docker is not a containerization. Containerization and virtualization, these are two strategies which we are following as a in a virtual box hypervisor. So in a virtualization, what we do, we have a virtual box and we allocate a dedicated resources, and the cost is very high because it has more size. What is the strategy we follow now? We are following a containerization strategy. So in containerization strategy, we have a shared resources, and the cost is very low because the size of the image Docker is very less, around 35 MB. You can see 12 GB to 35 MB. How much storage is saved and how much cost it will save it. Around 90% cost is saved by this strategy only. So it's a boom. It's a boom. Write a boom in the chat if you follow this Docker containerization strategy. So let's solve this problem. First problem of today's 35 days challenge of Docker is, so the Nautilus DevOps team aims to containerize the application. Following the recent reading, what we have to do? We have to install Docker and Docker Compose package on App Server 2 and initiate the Docker service. It's so simple. Just what we have to do, we have to install the Docker service and Docker Compose service, and then we have to just start. And please keep in mind you should do all this in App Server 2. This you have to keep this in mind because there are three app servers, and in that we are going to App Server 2 and installing all the dependencies over there. So without wasting further more time, let's jump into our App Server 2. Okay, so let's run. Let's go. So what is so from here we can get the credentials of App Server 2. Here we get processes Steve at this, and yes, we need to continue this. Let's put the password over here. Password is this America. Okay, so we are in our App Server 2. Now let's install the dependencies over here. So first of all, let's update the system. So we are updating our system first, so that it requires a latest dependency, because sometimes the Docker is only installed on the latest version of this. Docker is not compatible with the older version of Ubuntu. So that's why we are installing and updating the system files and dependencies. So now let's, okay, so it's done. Okay, student. Okay. Okay, now I think it's done. Now let's install the latest required packages of Hill. This was the storage utilities. Let's install the utilities, the softwares, and now after this we will add a Docker repository. We will add a Docker repository. You can get this from internet. Just write. Here I have written this. So install Docker CE, and this is the thing which I have just put it complete. Okay. So you can install the latest version by using this command. You can just copy paste it from here. You don't have to remember or learn this. Just you can put it over here. I think it's done. No, 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 not this. I think yeah, Popper is completed. Okay, and repository is now being added. So just do what we have done. Just I am pasting it from here. Yes. So after this, we have to install the Docker CE, which I have already shown you from where you can take the dependencies. Okay. So this is the complete installation of a Docker. Now let's go to install and check it out how to install a Docker Compose on a Linux based environment. Yeah. Not this one. Yeah, here with this we can copy and paste and this like that. I have copy and then paste it over here. Okay, so Docker Compose is now installed. Let's see the version of our Docker Compose file. Docker Compose hyphen version. Uh, I think it's not installed correctly. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's make a raw file of this. Let's write all the commands in this. Yeah. So here I have done the Docker Compose and install Docker Compose and then start the enable, start the Docker service, enable the Docker service and verify the installation by using this. And after this, when I run sudo run hello world, it will print a hello world for me. So this is the complete commands file which we can save it and then we can give executable permission to this file. Okay. So what we have to do is just copy it one by one and then we can paste it over here. If I give this executable permission and then write the compose version line not found. Just a second. Let me change it here. So Docker we have already installed, and now we are working on the Docker Compose. Okay. So let's now, if we have already installed Docker, let's now enable that Docker service by using enable docker.service. So now it is enabled, and now we have started the Docker. I think I'm not getting the Docker Compose. How we can do this? Install Docker Compose also now. So let's install it again. Okay, so it has been added. Let's see whether we can, are we able to see the repository. Yes, you can see Docker CE stable is installed. After this, So what we can do, we can install the Docker Compose. Okay, okay, so it is completed. We installed Docker Compose. Let's see the version of this. Using Docker hyphen version. Okay, so Docker version 28.5.1 is installed and built. Okay, let's see the Docker Compose version also. Okay, Docker Compose version 2024.40.3 is installed. And now let's start and enable the service. We have already enabled it and now start and enable it. Okay, so it has been enabled. Let's check the status. Okay, so the Docker service is active and running, and it has started to connect it to running. Okay, okay, so let's take the information of this, and let's do one thing. Let's run it using okay, permission allowed. Let's run it using sudo. So it has enabled to put the latest image. Latest image is pulled. It is downloaded. And you can see hello from Docker. This means this message shows that your installation is working correctly. Okay. Okay, let's also show you how to I have added the user. Who is the user actually? Steve. So I will add a Steve user to the Docker group also. And now everything will work without using sudo. So Docker. Okay, so now we are on Docker. Okay. You can see Swarm is inactive and all the information of a Docker where it is installed in that where it is stored, where the Docker and the registries which are false. So this is the task which we have to perform for this lab, and let's submit it and save it. Boom in the chat guys if you were able to do this in one go. Boom in the chat. So this was the day 35 of challenge of the Docker challenge which we have successfully completed. And now we will move on to our day 36 challenge. Let's see what is the day 36 and we will be solving it tomorrow. Okay, so streak went up, not an issue. And day 36 we will deploy NGINX container on application server. It is very important for iron applications. To run an application, you must need an NGINX container to set up SSL and everything. So on day 36 we will be solving it live. Till then, goodbye, stay safe, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Ending the stream in 3, 2, 1, bye.